Beneath the towering skyscrapers and rushing traffic of modern Dakar, Senegal, sits an entirely different kind of city. Hidden within the capital's concrete grid is a functioning, centuries-old indigenous republic that operates quietly parallel to the modern state. These are the Lebou people. Long before European explorers arrived on the Cap Vert Peninsula, they were already the master architects of a political system that still functions today. This is not a ceremonial relic. The lebou maintain active ministers of defense, interior, and justice. Their dignities are not mere titles. These leaders mediate land disputes and manage communal society with an authority recognized by their people and the state alike. This raises a question of survival. How did a fishing community maintain its political identity through the rise and fall of African empires, the arrival of French colonizers, and the creation of a modern nation-state? The secret lies in the structural architecture of their government. It was engineered for longevity by a people who possessed an absolute hatred for tyrants. The lebou identity is rooted in resistance. The word lebou translates to a bellicose warrior, reflecting a culture built on the refusal to accept oppression. Throughout the 14th and 15th centuries, the lebou moved across the continent to escape the absolute rule of the Borba in Jolof and the Damel of Cayor. They chose migration over submission to these expanding monarchies. They walked until they ran out of land. Their migration ended only when they hit the Cap Vert Peninsula, the absolute westernmost physical limit of the African continent. With the Atlantic Ocean at their backs and nowhere left to run, the lebou realized they had to stand their ground. To do so, they invented a society where absolute power was structurally impossible to achieve. Their core philosophy was simple: power must be strictly divided. No single individual would ever be allowed to become a dictator. They created a legislative branch divided by age. The Fere, the younger generation, act as executors and the communal police force. They are overseen by the Jambour, elder sages who serve as the parliament and draft the laws of the community. Executive power is shared equally among a triumvirate. The Ndé manages the interior, the Saltige oversees defense, and the Jaraf administers justice. They work horizontally, ensuring no single officeholder can act without the others. In 1790, this system was finalized with a spiritual and judicial leader, the Serene Decaru. He binds the community together as a court of last resort, completing a blueprint of total checks and balances. This reliance on consensus extended even to nature. The lebou utilized sacred spirits and strict ecological rules to manage their resources, using communal belief to enforce sustainable fishing and forest management. This decentralized architecture faced its first real test in 1812. The lebou utilized their organized consensus to rebel against the Cayor Empire, successfully winning their official independence. Decades later, a new threat arrived when French colonizers occupied Dakar in 1857. By 1914, an outbreak of plague provided the colonial authorities with a medical excuse to dismantle the lebou capital. The French strategy was to burn the 12 traditional penk, the assembly places of the lebou, and force the population out of the city plateau. But the lebou were impossible to eliminate through a single blow. Resistance came through armed readiness, spiritual defiance, and the political maneuvering of Blaise Digny, the first black African deputy in the French Assembly, who used his position to protect his people's land. Their political architecture turned the community into a hydra. Because power was distributed across 12 assemblies and multiple ministers, the French couldn't force a surrender by capturing a single king. This system was so resilient that it survived the birth of the modern Republic of Senegal. The Lebou Republic remains because it is built on a systemic rejection of centralized power. Today, the Lebou do not seek a violent break from the state. They maintain a powerful sovereignty of memory, keeping their traditional laws alive alongside modern ones. The lebou history suggests that a system's strength isn't found in centralized control, but in how deeply it distributes power to reflect the people it serves.